In three, two, one. Hey, how are you,
What's
Jim?
up, man? How you
Nice
doing?
to meet you.
Doing
Yes,
good. How about you? Let me turn the
good.
volume up so I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you too. So how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good as well. It's actually 6 p.m. here in Connecticut.
Okay.
And where do you live, by the way?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Nice place. By the way, what do you call this? My name is Raymond. You know.
Okay.
You might mispronounce that because it's R-E-I instead of R-A-Y, right? The typical Raymond.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, do you want to get to these questions now?
Yeah, go right ahead. Go for it.
Yep. So, the burning questions I have. The first one is, why did you audition for Ink Master?
I auditioned because I'd watched season 1 and figured I would have a shot at winning it because back then, you know, I was pretty prideful about things. So I actually applied for season 2, season 3. Wasn't going to apply for season 4, but I opened up my own shop and went ahead and did it anyways and got on.
Wait, you did apply for season 2 and season 3 of Ink Master? Wow. Yep. But probably they have a lot of applications back then, huh?
They have a lot of applications and they're looking for a specific type of person.
Oh, yeah.
A combative, possible, just strong attitude type person is what they like to have on the show.
Like what they call this, like different kind of personalities for TV, yes. Right? And also what they call this one, and they want like different kind of tattoo artists, like new school.
Correct.
What they call line work, this and that.
Yeah, they want a good all around artist most of the time. But there are artists that only fit a certain niche and only do a certain style because that's what they're happy doing.
But it's good. At least you what do you call this one? You came in season 4. Season 4 very intense. A lot of good artists, right? Very competitive.
Season 4, I believe, was the first season where people started teaming up against others. So you had the Maddie and Scott versus Sausage and all that stuff.
Ooh, exactly. Yes. Very interesting season. So you auditioned there, and what do you call this one? Did you audition and think that you came in that competition and you're thinking that you're going to win this, or you just want to be in the competition?
I wanted to be in the competition to see how I sized up. It was still early in Ink Master's whole phase of things. So, and me not knowing anybody that had really been on the show before, I didn't know how things were done. So I went into it thinking, hey, we're going to be in New York. We're going to do 1 art challenge a week, and we're going to do 1 tattoo challenge a week. And the rest of the time, we're going to be out fucking around and just hanging out. So I figured it was going to be a pretty easy schedule. And that's not the case at all.
It's not because what they call this, like there's a TV side of Ink Master, right? Not just tattoo.
The whole thing is TV side. You're working 6 to 7 days a week. You're generally mic'd up 10 to 12 hours a day.
Oh my goodness.
It takes approximately 3 days to film an episode. So you're filming 2 episodes a week on average.
Wow. And plus the flash challenges, plus, you know, the elimination tattoos and this and that.
Yep. You'll have 1 day that's just for flash challenges, possibly 2 days for the tattoo challenge. And then you're also downstairs filming behind the scene type stuff when they're interviewing us about, hey, what does contrast mean? And what does this mean? Or what do you think about so-and-so's tattoo? You're constantly going, and you're living around each other the whole time.
Wow. Watching it, you know, it looks like you guys are stressed out almost every day, right?
Yep, that's typically it. There's an endless supply of Red Bull. They constantly, here, you know, we need you guys get going. Here's some Red Bull.
To give you that energy, right?
Yep.
Keep it up. But that's hard though, because Red Bull, sometimes you will crash after like a few hours.
Yep.
You know, then you have to do. Then oh my goodness, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's hard to get good sleep. It's hard to, as an artist, generally you can separate yourself at the end of the day, clear your head. When you're on the show, there's no separation.
Ooh, so thinking about like how you guys sleep, do you guys have like separate rooms? No.
There's a girls' room and there's a guys' room.
That's
so
it.
The first day, there were 17 contestants on my season. So that means there were 14 guys in one room and 3 girls in another room. The girls' room had a small quarter bath with just a sink and a toilet. We were joined up with a bathroom that had sink, toilet, and shower, but the shower never worked, never had hot water. The only shower that really worked also had a bathtub in it, and that was in the living room part of the house, of the loft. And so all of us only used one shower.
Oh my! And no privacy, right? From each other, like
It's a big dorm. It's a big dorm. You're in one big room with everybody in individual beds right next to each other.
Wow! Because as a fan, I thought you guys have like a different room.
Nope.
You guys have like a billiard hall.
That was one of the. There's like 2 living rooms. So one of them has a pool table in it. The other one has a dining room table, and then there's some couches between the 2 where they're used for filming and people talking. After we get done shooting something, there's 2 rules that they go by. One is ice, and the other one is hard ice. Ooh. And I don't know if anybody told you about this, but when they say ice, you'll get done filming something, they'll be, all right, guys, you're going on ice. Ice means you can talk about anything but the TV show. If you're on hard ice, you can't talk at all.
Wow.
Because what they're doing is they're letting it all build up inside of you. They're getting you all upstairs into the loft, because it's a 3-story building we were shooting in. So the second story was all production and filming rooms, like the main hall where we all shot or did our tattoos, and then eventually went to a separate one where the judges were at. That was also where the canvas deliberations were done and shit. And it's where the production crew would sleep and where they take care of their lunch and all that stuff. Upstairs was just a loft with nothing but us. So after we get done shooting, we'd have to go upstairs on hard ice, sit down on couches, and wait till the camera crew got up there, and then say, okay, guys, what do you think about this? And then the cameras would start rolling. And that's what you guys see us talking about.
Wow. And that's what I saw on like online articles, like the ice on ice and hard. I feel like because they're saving the drama, right? The drama for the TV.
Yeah, they don't want us. They didn't want us talking out our problems before the cameras were in our face. So if there was an issue between 2 people, they wanted it on camera.
Save it for later, right?
Yep, exactly.
By the way, this is going on YouTube. This one, our live chat is going on YouTube. And what do you call this one? The next question I have is, how was it seeing the production, the crew, and the judges for the first time?
Our very first time doing anything was the convention challenge. So we actually
How was that? Oh my goodness.
I'd worked conventions before, so it was no big deal. The only thing that was weird about the convention challenge is that you had to, or you were not able to deny somebody, or you were done with the challenge. And they sold it to you at first of, let's see how many tattoos you guys can get done. So some people were going for as many as they could do. Other people were going for quality and less tattoos. Me, I figured, okay, I'm not the lower half of the group of people, so I'll just do me, and I'm sure I'll be fine. So I didn't expect to be in the top 5 on the very first episode, but I knew I wasn't going to be going home. So I was never stressed out about it. Plus, I knew Scott. You know, Scott and I, we didn't see each other. They keep everybody separated until the first day of when they get us together. So you're flying in, and they have a hotel, and everybody's in a separate room, and you have to stay in your room. They don't let you come out. And you're usually in there for about 24 to 48 hours. they take your phone, they take your money, and they take your wallet.
Everything, right?
Yeah, and they'll take your computer too.
Wow.
So you're not chatting or talking to anybody.
Even to like your loved ones, calling your friends.
Yep. Can't do it. They section you off from everybody when you're shooting for the first part of the show and up until like the first half of the episodes. They take your phone and you might get it every other day to call home for a couple hours, and then they take it back.
Wow, that's just like, what do you call this? Like prison, huh? Almost.
It's and I've been to jail, and you had more freedom in jail. There was no TV, there's no radio, there's nothing but you staring at these other people all the time.
Wow. So I think that's why there's like drama. You guys eat every day. You get tired of each other.
Yeah, people don't clean their dishes. People leave messes in the bathroom. People are rude to each other. Some people snore all night. Some people like to drink and be loud and keep other people awake. Yeah, it wasn't the competition that got me. It was the separation, almost separation anxiety, and being away from my daughter.
With like real life, right?
Yeah, you were totally sectioned off from everything.
Wow. Okay. And what do you call this one? How about meeting the judges for the first time? Like meeting Dave, Oliver, and
that didn't mean anything to me. It was no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care. I don't get starstruck about things. I think the only person I ever really got kind of starstruck about was meeting 𝙿𝚘𝚗𝚎𝚗 for the first time way back when. And that was like 15 years ago or some shit.
Uh-huh. Cool. So moving on to the next question. The next one is called Ink Master Roll Call. It is where I say the name of everyone who is in your season, the talent, the cast, the judges, and you will tell me the first thing that comes in your brain, good, but bad, ugly, or indifferent.
It's fine.
The first one is Damon Butler.
I don't want to say infantile, just young, real young.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't prepared for the show.
Like he needed more experience?
Yeah,
or...
he was I think he'd only been tattooing like a year or two when he came on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So he was real confident, real cocky, but didn't have the skills at the time to back it up.
I see. Okay. Is there anything you want to add to Damon?
No, he was there for the first challenge and then for media day, and then he was gone.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's out.
Yep.
Went home. The second one is Ashley Bennett.
At first, it was Drama Queen. That's the one person I got in a little bit of a loud argument with, I guess you could say.
Yes, in the first episode, you guys are like a
she wouldn't stop. She just wouldn't stop. So she's grown up a lot now. But she's a good tattooer.
Yes. What do you call this one? She got the 8 of you guys got the first shop.
I think it was five of us. I think got it. We were the first 5, the top 5. Yeah, she got it because she did clean tattoos, and didn't go overboard. But I think she might have got it. She was bragging because she knew Oliver from before. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, or they just needed a female in the top 5. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it's not always just about your work. It's a TV show, and it's a reality TV show. So they want people there that will keep people interested. And if they need a female there to keep people watching, a female will stay there. If they need a guy there with muscles and tank tops, they'll keep him there because it'll keep the girls watching. Exactly.
That's the balance. And for reality TV shows, like what I always say, TV is number 1, right? Then whatever's next comes second.
Yeah, I didn't figure that out till I went back for one of the redemption episodes, and with the highest up one came up to me and said, "Jim, whoa, where'd this attitude come from?" And I said, "Well, I realized that it wasn't a competition, that it was just reality TV." And she goes, no, it's a competition, but it's reality TV first. And I went into it being totally serious and didn't expect what I got when we were in there.
Yes, because if you become serious about it, you know, it's more stress on you, more stress on how you do focus on the competition. That.
Oh, my wife joined. Hi, babe.
Hello. So what do you call this? That episode too. Let's talk about the flash challenge. You guys did the episode when you took a photo of a tarantula and a scorpion.
Yeah, it was. They assigned for you whether you got a tarantula or a scorpion, and then they had these barriers set up that were about, I don't know, 5 foot by 6 foot, and you got to get in there with a 35mm camera and try to get a good photo to show dimension.
That's scary. Did you hold it in your hand?
Yeah, I had the tarantula. I wasn't worried about it. They said if either the tarantula or the scorpion got you, it basically was like having a really bad bee sting. So I'm like, okay, if I get stung on my hand and I can't do the challenge, it's not like they're going to kick me out because something they sent me to do hurt me. So I didn't care. I was moving them around and stuff. I think that's why they didn't show me a lot, or I don't even think they showed me at all during that part of the challenge, is because I wasn't scared of the animal or of the insect. They were focusing on people that were freaking out, going, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," you know. Like, he was worried and stuff.
Like David, right? David Bell was like, "Oh crap, I'm out."
Him, but then it's like Beauty and the Beast when it came to Melissa, because she was like, "Oh hi, you're so pretty," you know, and she's a sweetheart. She had it right on her leg and stuff, and was taking, "Oh, you're posing for me." So that was a strength thing to show her doing that, and then showing guys getting all worried was another thing that just, again, it's for TV.
Yeah. By the way, Melissa is a strong girl. Like, you know, she's holding that tarantula.
Yeah, she's a farm girl. She loves animals and snakes and bugs and everything else. She's a sweetheart.
Exactly. What do you call this one? So during that elimination, Kyle snapped at Ashley Bennett.
Yeah, that snap happened the day after I snapped on her. She'd actually walked off the set the night I snapped at her. And from what I was told, Dave Navarro came up, because he hadn't left yet for the day, he came up and talked to her about staying. So she stayed.
Yeah, I saw her.
She was freaking out when we were going through our critiques, and that's when Kyle just blew it. The funny thing is, when Kyle blew it at her, I looked up at him, I went over and shook his hand after it was over with, and I said, "Thank you." He's like, "For what?" I said, "Because now everybody's going to think you're the asshole, not me." Because they totally forgot about me going off on her and focused just on him because he was the returning artist.
He was like, shut the F up.
Yep.
If you want to go home, go home. Oh, crap.
Yep. Yeah, I was surprised he blew up like that, because he was being supportive of her the night before when I was going off on her. One of the producers told me they could see me warming up and getting pissed off because she was complaining about stuff, and I guess I started rocking back and forth. My face was turning red, and one of the producers that was handling me told me that he told the camera guys, "Get on Jim, he's going to pop, he's going to pop." So they sit back in the control room when they're filming this and tell them, "Focus on so-and-so," because they know they can read the room when someone's going to let loose.
Yeah, and the guest judge, Tommy Montoya,
yeah, he's cool.
Like, what the heck?
Yeah, he's actually, I talked to him a couple times during the shooting. Because I'm originally from Southern California. So he came in my room and tried to rattle me about something, and I told him, "Oh, fuck it, I'm just going to pack white in it, so that'll be all right, all right?" And he goes like, yeah. And then he walked out of the room, and he popped his head back around and goes, "Hey, dude, I was just fucking with you." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." You know, he's actually a nice guy.
He is. He looks like a nice guy. What do you call this one? The next one is David Bell.
David Bell, we connected on a lot of levels just because of our pasts. I don't think he was ready for the competition either. You know, he was dealing with his own demons at the time.
What do you call this one? He had an accident, right? Motorcycle accident. He hurt his back.
He had a bunch of stuff. I know that there was some dental issues, and then there was some spinal issues that he was dealing with. I don't know the exacts on everything, and I can't speak to what exactly he was going through. I just know he's doing good now and has a kid. And
oh, that's good.
he's tattooing better than he was, and he's getting his life all together.
Yes, and in the show, he got an award, right? He has an award, and be like, you're a good tattoo artist. You got an award from previous something.
I don't know about any of that.
Yeah, I saw TV, so I was like, huh, he's really good. But then, he hurt his back, so it's like he's shaking. He can't really
yeah.
tattoo.
There was some issues going on, so I think some of it was health issues.
Yes. And what do you call this one? Moving on, the next one is Randy Volink.
Randy was funny. Boisterous, loud, funny. Total success with his shop and stuff now. But he was fun to be around on the convention when we were on the show. So I haven't talked to him much. A lot of these people I don't talk to anymore. So I don't know much about him anymore.
How many years ago? 7 or 8 years ago?
8 years ago.
And what do you call this one? 8 years ago. So the people back then in your show, like, a lot of them have changed, their attitudes. They're more matured now, and they're more, they're different now.
Correct. Yeah, a lot of us grew up.
Exactly. What do you call this one? So before Randy left the judging room at that time, before in the show, he said that, by the way, Nunez, my boyfriend don't think you're cute. Oh!
Yeah, we all had a good laugh about that one. I didn't think his tattoo was as bad as it was that Nunez was taking off on it. But when he cleaned out like that, it was pretty funny.
Everyone was out to get what do you call this? Nunez, huh?
No, I got along with Nunez.
You did.
I shot straight with him, and he shot straight with me. There were times where I didn't like a judgment call he did on like something Scott did, and I went up to him. I go, "What the hell is this?" He goes, "Dude, I don't know." And just he's there for the TV. He told us straight out. He goes, "You could do the most perfect tattoo in the world. My job is to tear it up. That's all there is to it." So he's not there to compliment you. He's not there to show you how to do something. He's there to talk shit, just like Oliver was, and to make you crack and watch you fuck everything up.
On TV, yep.
On TV. And then after, when the shooting's over with, they leave. We stay there in the loft. They all go out and go to dinner and do their things and hang out with their friends and, go to their hotel or wherever they're staying. And we don't see them till the next day when we're actually shooting again.
I know, right? And they don't even have cameras on their face when they go home to their, loft.
No.
Yep. And what do you call this one? So as a fan watching when Randy was eliminated, what do you call this one? He seems like he's being attacked, like his sexuality is being attacked at the show at the time.
He thought it was. I didn't see it that way. But he thought he was under attack. Yeah,
like his sexuality and
yeah. Well, the old boys group of tattooing used to be, you couldn't be a girl, you couldn't be gay, and they weren't going to show somebody of color how to tattoo. And that's the real old school way of thinking. When I came into it, all that was starting to go away. And I came into it with none of those issues at all. The only thing I didn't like was when coming into it was people overstepping their boundaries, thinking that they were better than they were.
Ooh. But now it changed, like a lot of people, it's getting more diverse, right?
Oh yeah,
industry.
Completely. Yeah, maybe because I don't look through those filters of like the racism and all that stuff, it doesn't bother. I don't see that stuff happening, But then again, I only focus on me and not everybody else's shit. You know,
That's
I have myself, my wife, and my daughter, and our family, and that's all I got to worry about.
focusing on yourself. Very important, right? Mm-hmm. You got it, guys. Very important knowledge. Focus on yourself and not everybody else.
Yeah. That's the only way to get better, is stop getting in the drama. This world is all about drama and everybody critiquing and talking shit to everybody else to make themselves feel better, when the only thing that's going to fix you is you.
Exactly. Focus on yourself and your peace.
Yeah.
What do you call this one? So, how was the nude tattoo flash challenge that you guys did?
They all walked in naked, and we're like, "What the hell is this shit going on?" And the majority of the guys just kept saying, "I'm not tattooing a dick. I'm not going to tattoo a dick. There's no way I'm going to tattoo a dick." So, and I was just laughing. I'm like, I don't care what I'm tattooing. Just, I'm not going home. I wasn't worried about what I had to tattoo. It just, if I was going to get a canvas that was going to let me do a good tattoo. And I got the gayest guy out of the group, because I think all but one guy was actually homosexual, and I think like one or two of the girls weren't homosexual.
Wait, canvas?
Huh?
You got a guy as a canvas?
I did. He he was hilarious. He had the biggest penis out of all the guys, and he knew it. And he was flaunting that thing everywhere. He was actually, when I was tattooed, because I was tattooing the inside of his thigh. That's where he wanted the tattoo. Upward. Well, his schlong kept getting right in the way of the tattoo. So I had to keep telling him, move that thing, because I can't tattoo with the head of your dick right there. You know, I was shaving the inside of his thigh, and his dick's sitting there bouncing off the top of my hand. I'm like, oh, crap. Hold this thing. So I got done with the tattoo. During the tattoo, there was a guy that was sitting, I forgot who was tattooing him, but they were down by his feet. He kept lifting his leg and showing his butthole to the guy, like flirting with him. I was just laughing, because, you know, I've got gay family members and everything else. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, not like
I was just laughing. And I knew, because it was supposed to be, the tattoo was supposed to fit the body part. I wasn't going to win, because he just wanted like this alcohol bottle, and I think it said something like, "Not if I go first." And it was a joke between him and his friends when they'd go out drinking about, "Hey, be careful, don't die." And they would say, "Not if I go first." So it was just a bottle, like a whiskey bottle with a banner on the inside of his thigh. So I knew it wasn't going to win, but I knew I wasn't going to go home. So when the judges were coming around, I told him, I said, break out into the windmill. Just start flinging that thing around in a circle, you know, because, you know, you could tell Oliver and Nunez weren't really comfortable walking up to look at these guys' tattoos with their schlong hanging out. So I told him, I said, when they're walking up, I said, start windmilling it. He's like, all right, all right. I said, and then when they look at your tattoo, bring your thigh up kind of high so your dick's right next to the tattoo, so they look at your dick too. He's like, I will. So they start walking up, and he starts rotating his hips and slapping it back and forth on his abdomen. Oh, you know, just let it fly back and forth, and I would just
the girls
fell out laughing. Huh?
Lisa.
So they wouldn't come more than 6 feet close to us to judge his tattoo. They just kind of looked over and went, oh yeah, Jim, it's a solid tattoo. Nice.
I'll stay here. Okay.
Yeah. I figured I'm gonna have fun with this. If it's gonna, I'm not gonna win it. I might as well have fun with it.
But what do you call this one? I mean, if you're focusing on that tattoo and you're professional about it, you don't care if the person's going to be nude or has clothes. You know, you just focus. You're just professional.
Yeah, I get customers all the time. They're like, oh my God, I bet you get to see a bunch of boobs and vagina with doing tattoos. And I'm like, I'm worried about the tattoo, not looking at their shit. You know, I'd rather not tattoo those areas because they're a pain in the ass to tattoo, and the healing sucks, and twisting my body into a pretzel to get down in by somebody's crotch isn't worth it.
Yeah, it's called professionalism.
Yeah.
And what they call this one. So the next one is roller. But
Roland, I didn't like Roland at first.
huh?
I thought he was pretty cocky, and then also was not ready. You know, he had his specific style.
Big style, right? What do you call that one? What style?
He's Polynesian. He does Polynesian tattoos.
Polynesian, yes.
Yeah, because he lives out in Hawaii and the whole lifestyle and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But after the show and stuff, I've messaged with him a couple times and stuff. He's actually a really nice guy. He was really mellow on the show, really zen. Would talk to his wife whenever he could. Vegan, you know, just really calm. He was a really calm guy. He could have, people in the house were messing with him, and I was one of them, to see if he would break. And no, he stayed calm the whole damn time.
That's cool, yeah. Which is a good thing, very good thing.
Yeah.
All this one. So how was that X-Men elimination tattoo that you guys did?
That was broken up into two categories, or two filming days. We had the challenge, and none of our, while I was on, none of our art challenges were actually art challenges. They were still tattoos. They had the first actual art challenge, which I think was the gunpowder artwork thing, and that was the episode after I left. So we were doing tattoos the whole time I was on there. We did the pick one, and then we had to do the faces. They chose who was getting what.
Ooh.
I think that was set up on purpose.
Yeah, sausage.
They had Maddie and Scott
Wolverine.
do their thing. Yeah, because that was the only one. And after, you know, afterwards, you think about things. That was the only challenge that had two of the same characters that they had a tattoo, and that happened to be our guest judge also. Hugh Jackman. So we filmed all that. There had been like 3 eliminations, and they'd sent people home, but we still hadn't seen Hugh Jackman. We just thought that was the end of the episode. And then we had a pickup episode where they flew people back in that had been sent home, had us dressed in the same clothes we wore the day of the tattoo, had us line up the exact same way, had the canvases that had gotten tattooed 2 weeks before, had us all line up and say, hey, we're doing a pickup scene. And so they showed the trailer for X-Men. We didn't see the trailer, none of that other shit. We saw that, and then Jackman came walking in. And it was like, okay, he couldn't be there when we actually did the filming of the tattoos. So they had a pickup scene. The funny thing was 90% of the tattoos that people had done on the show that came back in for Hugh to look at were just torn up. Being a canvas on the show, you can get some messed up tattoos. I think my tattoo, and like I know Halo's was, most of Scott's had fallen out from what I heard. But Hugh Jackman was acting like every one of them was absolutely perfect. He was like, oh yeah, look at that one. Ooh, Iceman. Ooh, this and that. And like I said, most of them were just big scabby messes.
Oh my goodness. So wait, what you're saying right now, Jim, is that this episode is broken into 2 parts.
Actually 3. So we had
we
had the first part where we just did people's what would their superpower be. And then we had the actual when we tattooed the X-Men, and then we had another episode that we had to film that matched in on everything where Hugh Jackman showed up. So they blended those all together in the editing room.
And I have a question. Why did they bring like the eliminated artists back on the second part?
They brought them in because it's called continuity in filming. So people aren't supposed to know this happened 2 weeks later. It's supposed to look like it all happened the same way. So you wear the same clothes, you do your hair the same way. You know, we all line up in the same spots we were when we filmed it the first time. It's just now we're editing more material in, is what it was.
Oh, okay. Because that's what I noticed. Like some of the cast, some of like the tattoo artists, like they wear the same clothes. They're being interviewed.
Yeah, it's pickup scenes. It's called, as they told us, it's all for continuity. So Joe Public thinks that it all happened at the same time when actually it took weeks in between. Like when you see us talk about contrast, that might be 4 weeks after we actually did the contrast challenge. That they could actually pull us down, sit us in that little room, and do interviews. So we'll go through like 3 or 4 challenges in interviews. So you'll be interviewing all day long about other episodes that are already filmed. So they'll look at you and they're like, well, back then he like, no, talk about it like it's right now. So you're like, oh, well, Halo really pissed me off right now. You know, even though it happened a week ago, you know, they want it all to seem like it's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. And they would use that scene to like a different scene, right?
Yep.
They'll
cut that in on final editing because none of it's live. I mean, we filmed from before Thanksgiving to just after. I left right after Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, I think it was, because I just had my mental breakdown. I was done. My daughter wasn't talking to me because she was only 3 at the time. She didn't know why Dad had been gone for 4 weeks, you know. And my back was hurting like crazy. So I was just like, I started telling the producers to fuck off, which was kind of rude at the time. But I had it. I saw that Scott was being favored. I saw that they were having Scott and
really
Maddie tag up on sausage.
Wait, you said that you think that the judges favored Scott?
I think production, because the judges, in my opinion, the judges do what production tells them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if they already labeled Scott as the hero, unless he royally fucks up or somebody else royally fucks up on their season, they'll keep giving him, like when Dave Cruzman didn't get eliminated for his portrait, his pinup thing. You know, but he still won his Ink Master, but he just, you know, royally defecated on one thing. It depends on who they want to win, you know.
Wow.
People win because that's what they think the public wants to see win.
This is mind-blowing, you know, right now. Like, I'm blown away right now because, what do you call this one? When I was watching this season, I'm thinking that, you know, Scott was really good, like really, really good. And that, you know, you guys were threatened by him. So you're saying right now it's not like that?
No, I knew Scott from before the show. Matter of fact, I was on my way to a Korn concert. I stopped into Chicago, stopped by his shop before we went for shooting, and was like, "Hey, dude, I'm all backstage and on the bus with the guys from the band. You want to go?" And he's like, "I got a tattoo. I'm all cancel it. Let's just go hang out." Yeah, I can't, bro. Blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, that's the last time I'd seen him, and I think it was like 3 weeks later. Then all of a sudden, we were on the show together. So he and I were talking about tag teaming with people and teaming up. And I said, okay, you can play the big tough guy, or I'll play the tough guy. You play the, you know, the sympathetic guy. Let's, you know, good cop, bad cop. Let's, you know, see what we can do, and let's just fuck this up. Especially after we got into the top 5 together. And he started doing weird things, and so I went up to him and said, "Dude, what's going on?" And he's like, "Dude, the producers want me to team up with Maddie."
Ooh.
Because I can't. There's no disrespect to you. I'm being told to team up with Maddie on this stuff.
Oh my goodness! So this is shocking right now because now we know that the production has a huge part.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They will plot people against each other. They will go up and tell you that they heard so and so say this, or you know, they'll bring up questions if they see you do something underhanded. There was one time that after when we did the double challenge where Bubba and I tattooed a guy's thighs with his family members, like traditional style portraits. And one of the producers walked up to me after we were done, and she's like, "What do you think Bubba did?" I said, he fucked this one up bad. I said, he messed it up. And she's like, "Oh, wow." So then they put us on ice. We went upstairs, and when we were up there, she looks at me and says, when they put us off of ice, she goes, "So, Jim, what do you think of Bubba's tattoo?" And I went, "He did a tattoo." whatever. You know, I wasn't going to repeat what she wanted me to repeat to start the drama.
But then the what do you call this? The production will play the story, will create a storyline for the people in the show. Wow. You should. Wow, you unveil the secrets of Ink Master.
You know what? I wish I'd known this stuff before I'd gone on. Because I probably would have kept up the whole act and the asshole persona that's the reason why I got on the show. But I didn't have it in me. Like I said, I was missing my daughter. I was tired. I was in a lot of pain. My whole lower spine is fused together. And when you go in for critique and judging, that usually takes all day. So you're standing there all day. And there were times, you guys see 15 to 20 seconds of a critique. A critique can last an easy 20 minutes. Yeah. So each judge is sitting there just tearing your ass. They're not telling you good stuff. They're telling you, well, this is wrong and that's wrong. Well, if you're going to take a tattoo the size of a baseball and put it on a 65-inch TV, you're going to see every line hiccup in there. You're going to see every inconsistency because you're now magnifying it that much versus you just looking at it. So they'll sit there and magnify it in and just pick it apart. So each judge is sitting there for at least 5-10 minutes talking shit. When you got 3 to 4 judges, we're standing there all day long. They're sipping water. They're taking breaks to go to the restroom. Sometimes we're thirsty. We want water. We want to sit down. We have to stand there the whole time.
Wow.
So there were times where my back would start hurting so much, I would just sit down. And they're like, Jim, you can't do this. You have to stand up. And I'm like, I can't. My legs hurt.
It's hard.
We would film the entrance, and they'd go back and forth, and then they have a thing called first reactions. Like, the producers will have us all lined up in our spot before the judges even come out, and they go, okay, what would your reaction be if someone walked by with a hot tuna sandwich, a stinky tuna sandwich? So everybody makes these faces like, ugh. And they'll film that. And then they edit that in when they're showing reactions to somebody's tattoo.
Of like a negative critique of that person.
And you don't know where they're going to use it. Like, okay, now act like the judges said something that you really agree with. And all of us will sit back and go, yeah.
You'd be like shocked or like...
Yeah. And it would show us a shocked face, and they'll use that, and they'll peg that in. They used a lot of my faces during a lot of the stuff. Some of it was right when it was happening, but there were times that, they used my face a lot on doing stuff, and I don't remember making that face when I saw that person's tattoo for the first time. So after all that was done being filmed, what they would do is they would bring me out a chair. That was tall. If I was sitting in, my head was the same height. So a bar stool chair, and they'd bring it in. Everybody else would have to stand, and I was sitting down because I physically couldn't stand that long.
Wow. I couldn't even react, like, like all of this tea, all of these secrets that you're spilling and you're giving to us. It's overwhelming, Jim.
Well, my contract was over a long time ago, so I can say whatever I want about it.
Boom. What do you call this one? The next person is Keith.
Keith was strange. I mean, he was nice, but he was strange. I didn't connect with him. He and I got into a slight argument one time. He thought I was personally attacking him when I was just talking shit about his tattoo. But yeah, I don't know much about Keith. I know he's working still, and I see stuff on Instagram once in a while with him, but I don't know much about him.
Oh, okay. That's fair. The next one is Baba. Anything you want to add to Baba, Erwin?
Baba he's an all right guy. I don't think I'd hang out with him on the outside. We went back for redemption, and they screwed me over on something pretty bad. They went behind my back and with the production and everything else and set it up for him to win. And I think that was done on purpose to bring him back for another season with 𝙿𝚘𝚗𝚍𝚗𝚘. So I think they were playing long game with him, and I was just collateral damage on that one.
You were like, what do you call this? Like just a supporting actor in the episode.
Yeah, they were focused on him. Girls like him. They think he's cute and everything else. And so, he's the V-neck guy that They
Wow.
needed the ratings.
Wow. What they call this one? So this episode, when Keith and Baba was eliminated, you can't find it anywhere. I can't find it. They deleted it in Netflix. They removed it in Paramount Plus. It's gone. This episode,
Where each one was eliminated on their separate individuals, because they weren't eliminated. I was the episode that had a double elimination, so they went home on their own days.
Keith too. Keith and Baba.
Not at the same time though. Not
gone.
at the same time. The whole episode's gone?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I haven't noticed that.
My goodness. And I searched it online, and it says that because of the Corona beer copyright or something like that.
It could be because they were advertising Corona. They were one of the sponsors at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So they might, because Corona paid for a lot of that stuff, because they did a whole episode of Find Your Own Beach with Corona. There was just weird advertisements that were thrown in that Dave would have to say.
Live Mas.
Yeah, live Mas. I mean, Dave, it was funny because he would crack. He's like, do I have to really say it like this? Do I have to say live Mas or Find Your Own Beach? That's the only time that he broke character and wasn't real cool and relaxed during the whole thing, is when he'd have to say some silly things for a sponsor.
Wow. Yeah, that episode is gone. When I was watching it, the next episode was, King Rock was so shocked that he was saved, and the other two was gone. Keith and Baba, that's it.
Huh. Strange.
Speaking of King Rock, what's your opinion about him?
Every time I go to Vegas, I go see him. He and I get along. We're great. Matter of fact, I was messing with him one time because he went back with Tough Tito or whatever it was. And I told him, I said, dude, why didn't you should have lined me up, dude. You and I could have gone in there and just started all kinds of shit. And he was like, oh man, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, yeah, dude, because we used to mess with each other. I'm like, we could have been totally salt and pepper, bro. We'd gone in there, brothers from other colors, and just he'd always tease me, going, dude, you're way out of pocket. And I'm like, no, my pockets are tucked in, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. He and I would joke back and forth, but our beds were right next to each other. So we'd sit there and talk. So we have a mutual respect for each other. He's a really solid guy, cool guy.
That's cool.
I write to him once in a while. Like I said, when we go to Vegas, I was just out there in August getting married. And we went over, and my wife and I hung out with him for a while. And he's got a good thing going.
Cool. That's cool. What do you call this one? How was the cover-up elimination tattoo that you guys did?
When I got sent home, she wanted something else, and then it wasn't going to work out, so I just hand drew what I put on her. Was a little pressed for time. She was crying. It hurt. She messaged me a couple years ago saying she's still completely happy with it.
That's good.
I believe that I was more sent home because of me telling the producers and stuff to fuck off. Up until before that, they were coming up to me going, hey, Jim, where's this guy at that would argue with people, that would get in people's faces? And I just started telling them, I'm tired. I'm not in it now. And I think they saw that, and that's why they sent me home. It's because I wasn't in it. Because if you really look at the tattoos, I mean, the two other tattoos weren't any better than mine, but Melissa is a really pretty girl that was still on it. I'm not blaming her. I'm not saying they kept her just because she was good looking. And then Jay was still starting shit.
Oh yes, I remembered. Okay, because Jay was starting crap, or they call this one. He was doing stuff in the competition.
Yeah, he was a point of drama. Most of the house didn't like him just because of his personality. And he's one of those guys that thinks that he's better than everybody else and is always a one-upper. If you say you did something, he knows somebody that already did it and did it better, or he did it and did it better. So he was just one of those guys that was always talking about himself, and most of the house didn't like him. Wow.
It's interesting that, the production played the huge part in this one, and who goes home based on your character, your.
I think that happens with every season. I think a lot of that has to do with every season.
Shocking, very shocking right now, Jim. What do you call this one? The next one is Kyle Dunbar.
Great guy. Still talk to him. I just did his podcast, I don't know, a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
He's a handful. His brain doesn't stop. He's got his brain overclocks like none other. He's always thinking. He's always rattling off about something.
He's smart.
He's smart. He's very smart. He doesn't know how to dial it back, and it's funny because he'll just and he's just hitting you at 90 miles. He would stay up because he couldn't sleep because his brain would fire so hard. He would stay up just drawing all night long. Maybe get like an hour or two of sleep, and then go back into filming the next day.
Wow! No wonder why he looked stressed out in that.
Yeah, he's got one of those minds that just goes and thinks constantly. His wife, thank God he's got a great wife, Candy, because she's an absolute sweetheart and keeps him dialed in a lot. And he'll tell you the same thing, that she's, a godsend for him. But I think it got into his head, and he had a lot of stuff going on. And I was teasing him from the get-go, saying that, I teased him. I went up to him one time at the show, right after the show, and I said, I think you guys set that up to go home. He goes, what do you mean? I said, I think you were done with the show. I think that because of things that were going on in your home life, that you wanted to go, and they wanted to save face. So that's why you and Chris just shoved each other, and there was no real fight. Because if you were actually going to fight somebody, you would have clocked them.
Wait, what?
I accused him of it being fake.
That's a fake fight?
They get in a shoving match. Kyle gets mad because of something that somebody said and goes after Nunez for it. And they get in a shoving match. Well, Kyle was talking about how he wanted to kick his ass. And I think if Kyle actually wanted to kick his ass, he would have lit him up. He would have lit Nunez up. But he didn't. So I was joking with Kyle and told him, hey, I think you guys set that up for you to go home because you needed to go home and take care of things.
Oh, it's your theory that it's not real.
Oh, and he just looked at me and goes, if that's what you think, Jim.
Because what do you call this one? As a fan, it looks real.
Yeah.
Because, there's a build-up of hatred to the critiques and this and that.
And of course, a lot of that's done in editing. So they'll show more. They'll show things building up bigger than they actually were on set. There's artists that talk about how they got into fake fights just to get the cameras to spin around and come at them.
Wow. And now I need to talk to Kyle about that. If it's fake or real.
he'll sit there and go, well, I don't know.
Wow.
He still plugs the hashtag fuck Chris Nunez and all kinds of other shit. So I mean, it's become a great marketing thing. If it wasn't real, it was a great marketing thing for him.
Wow, it could be editing though, right? Because it looks real, but
I was still there. They had sent me home, but I was still there doing interviews, back-end interviews. And one of the producers came up to me with his cell phone and goes, Jim, check this out. Kyle went after Nunez. And I was like, yeah, because he and I, the night before I went home, he was talking about kicking Nunez's ass. I said, cool, because I'll go and beat the shit out of Oliver Peck. I don't care. Because Oliver rubbed me the wrong way. And part of that was just because I wasn't feeling comfortable where I was at, so I wanted to fire up. So let's just do this together. And I just happened to go home first. So I don't know. There was animosity on Kyle's end. Nunez got mad because he thinks that production should have warned him, because Kyle was talking about confronting him for a couple days before it actually happened. And the producers knew that something might happen. And Chris had no idea.
Hot. My goodness. Yeah. Hot tea. What do you call this one? The next one is Lydia Bruno.
Lydia, at the time, I didn't like her artwork when she was on the show. But she started working with Halo, and now because she's doing awesome shit. She's a strong, kind of tomboyish girl. Doesn't take a lot of shit. Very competitive, very intense young lady. She's cool. I liked her.
That's cool. Fair. That's fair. Next one is, do you have anything to add to Gentle J?
He and I just don't get along. There's no love lost. There's no use in me wasting time talking a whole lot of shit about him. I don't like him, and that's all there is to it. I don't need to bring up shit like he does or run my mouth about stuff. You know, if things want to get settled, we'll settle it. I'm not worried about it.
What do you call this one? Do you have an opinion about Jay throwing Scott under the bus? Remember that episode with like the drawing?
Yeah, I remember, because the reason why Jay threw Scott under the bus is because Maddie showed Jay the pictures that Scott used for reference.
Ooh. And they're supposed to be a team, right? Matty and Wow, my goodness.
Yep. I was told. I think it was. I don't know if it was Maddie that told me, or somebody told me that it was Maddie that went up and showed Jay. Hey, these are the drawings, and Scott's been using these certain drawings this whole time. So I was told that it was Maddie that gave Jay all the ammunition to try to shoot down Scott.
Wow. And what do you call this one? And that's it. He received like a flashback from the judges, you know. So what?
So what? You know, maybe you need reference to and all this other stuff. We all use reference. Nobody draws blind. They all learn from something. So I know exactly what statue that he referenced, because I had used that as a reference before on tattoos at my own studio. You know, it's a world famous freaking, you know, samurai that's on a horseback. That's, you could look it up anywhere. You know, it's a statue. It's a famous statue. So
and like
I knew exactly where he pulled the reference from. He didn't copy it, you know, 100%. He added his own flair to it. But that's what tattooing is if you don't have a reference book, you find something on the internet. If you don't know how to draw something, you go find out how to draw it. And that's what artwork is. It's all reference. The old masters that do pinups and stuff like that, they had a woman sitting there. They didn't know how to just draw the perfect breast with the perfect nipple, with the perfect hair. They had women sit down and they drew them. So everything is reference. Nothing that just comes out of your head unless it's some wackadoo looking weird acid thing.
And just like what Dave said, you know, what do you call this? If you're going to draw a horse or draw an animal, you need a reference, right?
That's exactly it.
That's what it is. What do you call this one? The next one is Melissa Monroe.
Well, Melissa, sweet girl. Sweet girl.
Top six.
You know, I called her like little sister. She reminded me of my mom, especially with her love of animals. She rescued a cow. I think it's actually a bull, and he acts like a dog with her last time I saw. She's got her little farm. She's got her hobby farm. She's got a beautiful little baby boy. I haven't talked to her in forever. I just see snippets of stuff that she does. Her tattooing has gotten phenomenal, and she's just a cool chick.
I think she could win, right? When she comes back in the next future Ink Master season. I don't think
she'll ever come back. She told me that there was some things that happened and Dave made her feel uncomfortable, and she complained about it, and production told her to shut her mouth or they'd send her home.
Uncomfortable because of like
he asked her if she wanted to go see New York, and he was going to sneak her out of the house, out of the loft, and they would just say that she was doing interviews that day and he was going to take her out on the town.
Wow. Okay. Bringing...
What'd you do?
Sorry, what do you call this? There was a countdown.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah, there was a whole thing that that she was exposing it, and the producers got on her and told her to shut her mouth, basically. So I don't think she'd ever go back on.
Wow. Very interesting story about Melissa that we don't know. Yeah, and
Yeah,
also
it's all behind the scenes shit.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. As a fan, it's
Well, a lot of people forget that we're actually people, you
Like-
know, and they think that this persona they see on TV that we're always like that. And then there's trolls. There's people that'll come after you online and talk massive shit, not even knowing who you are. There was one dude that came after me one time talking shit, and I said something smart ass to him. He's like, "Hey, remember that there's thousands of us that know what you look like, and you don't know what we look like, so we can come at you at any time." So I dropped into his DMs. I said, "I'll be at this show, and this show. You don't even have to introduce yourself. Just come up and hit me, and we'll figure this out." And he wrote me back, "Oh my God, I can't believe you responded to me." He was just like, he was throwing shade just to get attention. And people do this a lot. And there's a lot of tattoo that come off the show that won't tattoo for a little while because they need to get their head back together after being on the show.
That's what trolls do. They just want attention.
Yep.
They just want reaction or emotion out of some people, right?
Yep.
Like online. Yep. That's all they want. What do you call this one? The next is Halo.
Halo's a cool guy. Real mellow, good headspace, successful businessman. Found the love of his life not too long ago. Great house, good artist. His oil paintings are on point. He's a cool guy. I admired him from the first get-go, from the first day, especially after looking at his portfolio. I was like, holy shit. This dude's got his shit together.
He almost made it to top 3 of the competition.
I honestly think he was the strongest tattoo artist out of all of us. I think he should have been the winner. But he didn't play the game the way they wanted him to play it. So I think that's why he didn't get it. And that's one of the, when they had us talk at the finale, when and he said, "Hey, I did this, and I told him, I said, nice guys finish last, dude. If he had been more cutthroat and gotten people's face, it would have been him and Scott.
Ooh, if he's like, I'm a threat or this and that, or if he changed like the way he speaks in front of the camera, in front of the TV.
Yeah. If he'd been an asshole, and been, with his chest stuck out and not a nice guy, I have no doubt. I mean, I honestly think he's the most talented out of our whole season.
And he's always winning like the flash challenges and all like the
he is an artist. He's not just a tattooist. He's a tattoo artist because he can draw. He can draw his ass off, and he's got a mechanical mind on him and a business mind. So he's got the whole package. He would have been one of the best ink masters if he had won.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that opinion because he's really, really good. Like his artworks. The next one is Matty Hickson.
Matty's a comedian. He's always had everybody laughing. He had his vices at the time. I don't know how he's doing now. I know he's gone through some hard times not too long ago. He lost a daughter. I really felt for him on that one. I hope he's doing good with his life, but I don't talk to him. I hope he's well. I see his tattoos once in a while pop across my feed, and they look good. But like I said, I haven't, other than being at, last time I spoke to him, I think was at Scott's funeral, when we were there for Scott's funeral.
By the way, we're talking about like, Ink Master, but, RIP to Scott.
Yeah.
Great guy, And,
yeah, he was, before the show, he was a really good guy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this is only a TV show, like the people you see on the TV, they're not really them. They're just playing, like a persona or something.
Yeah, the TV show changed. I believe the TV show changed Scott from who I knew. it sucks because, you know, his wife Jo and his 2 daughters and his stepson, you know, all really relied on him, and their whole lives got turned upside down because of, I think the show was mentally a little too much for him in the end. Okay, we're buffering, so I don't know if you're seeing me right now.
Yes, I'm seeing you. And
I think the show weighed on him a whole lot. If you look at from the show, the last episode when we were on in the show to the actual finale, you can see how much weight he's lost, and you can see his face is drawn in, and he just looks sick. So he was dealing with some demons. He when we got the call, there was a group text that we were all together with. We were at it was on the weekend that there was the Chicago Tattoo Convention. I had asked him earlier that day if he was going to do the convention, and he said, or the day before, if he was going to work the convention. He said no. He said he had other things to do. He was booked out at work. And I said, okay, so we're going to at least swing by. He's like, yeah, I'll try to swing by the convention. We'll say hi. We'll hang out. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was driving to get the girl that I was dating from the Chicago airport. And, or was it? No, I think I was driving down to get Randy. One or the other. And, yeah, I was driving down to get Randy. And a message went across all our phones that, hey, somebody on TMZ just announced that somebody from Ink Master died. And so Ashley was like, does anybody know who it is? And was going back and forth, back and forth. I immediately picked up my phone and called Scott's cell phone and said, hey, dude, this better not be you. You better call me back. You better be all right. And then it came out later on that night that it was him that passed away.
Very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad. Great guy. And what do you call this one? And he deserved it. He deserved that win, Ink Master. And
like I said, I think Halo should have won, but I think it should have been between Halo, Sausage, and Scott. But it was funny how everybody's back piece had a girl, and it was everybody's back piece looked similar. So again, they always said, you know, it's whatever you want to do.
Production.
You know, yeah, I think the back pieces. I think production had something to do with the back pieces on that, or at least maybe Scott and Maddie were working together on the final piece, and someone leaked it to Sausage what they were doing. I don't know, but they were too similar to be random pieces that these guys just decided to do.
Exactly. That's as a fan, that's what I'm thinking. They're all girls, this and that. They're all similar.
Well, I mean, like the only one that I think that really took off and got different was when Joey Hamilton won. Because everybody was doing these back pieces. He comes out with a fucking thigh piece that fits the girl's leg beautifully with the mermaid and everything else. He went against, they said, you know, you need to do a really large piece. Well, everybody's like, oh, I'm going to do a back piece. Back pieces don't look good on everybody. You have to fit in a certain realm. You do something down the leg that's knockout, it'll pull away from a back piece every day.
Yeah, and so what they call this one, and it's gonna be on you forever. It's hard to cover up. It's big. It's, you know, when you grow up, you know, you change as a person. You know, so 10 years from now, you might hate that back piece that's on.
Well, and then they started ramping up the production more because it was like, okay, you need to do a chest panel and a back piece.
Oh, yes, you're right. I think that's on the next season.
The pay that we used to get back then was very little compared. I mean, what they'd pay us a week, I make in a day. Okay? And I don't even have to work that many hours, you know, to make that in a day. Even back then, I'd make it in a day. So you don't get paid a whole lot, and you don't get residuals. They tell you, hey, this is a step off for your career. You're going to promote it. You do this, do Twitter, do blah, 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 blah. But it's more, I thought, what you're doing was free advertisement for the TV show, not for yourself.
TV,
you know,
all about the TV.
It's all about the show. It's all about the show and the sponsors getting their money and the advertisement. So we're just hamsters running around a cage. You know? I heard Aaron is say, most articulate, say, well, don't you want to be Ink Master? Well, there's no such thing as an Ink Master. There's no one person that can do everything perfect. Everybody has a style. Everybody has a niche.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does a little of everything or just one of something all the time. There's no real thing. And then we're being asked to work in an environment that we never would work in.
Right?
When have you seen a person lay down and get tattooed by 5 people at the same time? Oh, and then, by the way, her twin sister's getting a mirror image of it on her, and you guys have to match. And this is what we're going to judge your competition.
Ridiculous.
Okay. When is someone going to come in walking in naked with their dick flinging around and say, hey, tattoo me on my thigh right by my head of my cock? It doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. In real life.
In real life, none of this happens. The majority of us artists would tell the person, get the fuck out of here. We're not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And then these people, Jay had one of the fucking greatest things I ever heard is Jay one time said to the people when he came back for redemption, they're like, well, you should learn how to treat your clients better. And he looked at him and said, did you pay for your tattoos? Then you're not a fucking client. You're a client when you pay somebody and you go to them to perform a service. You go on TV to get a free fucking tattoo, you're not a client. You're an attention whore. You're somebody that wants to go onto TV to be noticed.
That's it. That's all they want.
We're on there to try to make our career better. You're on here to get something free and then talk shit.
And then complain, right? Every time there's like a canvas on TV, they're like complaining, I want this. It's going to be on me forever.
And that's something production does too. Production tells people, these are the best artists in the world. You ask for what you want and they have to give it to you. Well, it's traditional day and you want a realistic black and gray photo. No, we're not matching what we're supposed to do. On the palm of your hand, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, people are asking for ridiculous things at times.
My goodness, yes, you're right. My goodness. I'm learning a lot from, like the behind the scenes from you. By the way, the next one is Sausage. Opinions on Sausage.
Sausage is a good guy. I like Sausage. Matter of fact, after the show, he and I talked quite a bit. Good dude. Just an overall good dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think what kept him around besides his really good tattooing was the drama between he, Scott, and Maddie. So there was drama.
Mm-hmm.
So that kept him going. Yeah, it was the trifecta. It was, they needed someone to cause drama. They needed a good guy versus the bad guys. And Sausage fit the part.
You're right. Yes. Good guy and the bad guys. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
So,
throughout the season,
Sausage was solid. He'd sit in his bed every night and read his Bible. He wouldn't talk bad about anybody. He would pray. He would read his Bible. He was on point.
That's good. That's really like, what you do every day is that reflection of who you are, right? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's what's up, Sausage. If you're watching this.
Sausage is a good guy. Good guy, good dad. Real good dad.
Wow. By the way, anything you want to add to Scott Marshall?
No, I wish he was I would have liked to seen how he progressed. He was up and down in his whole life, but he was an artist. And a lot of artists are like that. They live in emotion and they're up, down, and they feed on what they can, and that's what brings inspiration to certain things is either a tough time in life or a good time in life. Yeah, like I said, he had a hell of a wife, hell of a family, had a good thing going on. I really wish that the stress of the show and all the demands that were being put on him hadn't led him down the road of doing what he did. And the people that were enabling him because they thought it was cool to hang out with him, I wish they hadn't been around him.
And now we're moving to the judges.
Okay.
Okay. The first is Oliver Peck. Opinions on Oliver Peck.
He's a clown. He's just a clown. He's loud. He's boisterous. He reminds me of the little kid at school that was the short little kid that, so he wouldn't get picked on, he acted like a jackass and was always doing comedy and doing outrageous things to get attention. And that's the kind of personality he strikes me as. He could be a great guy on the outside of the show, but that's all I ever saw of him.
But what do you call this? He wants to like show you guys a different perspective of him. in the show, right?
Everybody that I talked to after that said that's pretty much his personality all the time. I can't judge it because I don't know him from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Next is Kyle Nunez.
Solid guy. He and I, the very first, I went up for the very first critique. It was the eyeball critique. I watched them tear people apart and people getting upset and them telling people that things were hyper realistic and all this other shit. And I went up there and kind of crossed my legs up and looked at him and said, hey, if you guys are going to cut me. But don't talk shit, because if you talk shit, I'm going to come up there and we're going to have a fucking problem. And none of this made editing. But Dave Navarro was like, you think we're going to cut you from the show? And Nunez looked at him and said, no. He meant critique him, don't talk shit. Don't just sit there and talk shit, just talk shit. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, okay, Oliver. And Oliver straight up was like, oh, yeah, Jim, so, yeah, you could have done this different. You could have done that different. Then it went to Tommy, and Tommy's like, yeah, bro, you and I talk. It's cool, whatever. And then went over to Nunez, and Nunez looked at me and said, hey, Jim, you're a straight shooter, aren't you? I said, there's no other way to be. He's like, I respect that. And after that, we were good.
That's cool. And what do you call this one? Seeing the judges and their critiques, it's always on point, right? Like, no?
Half their shit's made up. Half their shit, they're picking on stuff that isn't even really fucking there.
Like, like
I told you, they're paid to stir the pot, to talk shit, to make you feel like crap. They're not there to tell you an honest opinion if they really like it or not. They're there to start shit.
Wow.
I think Dave's the only one that didn't really buy into that. Only because he's supposed to be the objective one that's coming at it from a client's perspective. So he'll tell you if he really likes something or he really doesn't like something. He's not going to sit there and go, well, I'm an artist and your light source is here and this was fucked up and your proportions, unless they were grossly exaggerated, he'd be like, yeah, your proportions are messed up. This looks just weird to me. But he wouldn't sit there and try to give you an art lesson and talk shit to you.
And every time, what do you call this one? And every time they have like they're critiquing something, he always like picks the different person compared to what Chris and Oliver speaking, right?
Yeah, he's usually a different voice out of the whole thing. He's not coming at it as a cocky artist. He's coming at it as just him. He was a nice guy. He would, even after I got eliminated, I was walking by his dressing room and he was like, hey, Jim. And production was like, come on. I'm like, no, what's up, Dave? He's like, you doing all right? I'm fine. Cool. Good to know.
He's so chill, huh?
He's nice. He's super chill. Totally nice.
Anything you want to add to Dave?
No, just good guy.
Good guy.
I mean,
so
what can get as many women as he wants.
What we see in TV is the same Dave in person.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Yeah. I didn't see a dramatic difference in people that have ever talked about him say the same thing. He's generally a nice guy. He's a woman's man. He likes to pick up on women and do his thing. He's a smooth dude, rock star. But he doesn't come off stuck up or mean. He has his drug past, so he and I talked about our drug pasts and overcoming things, and just a good dude.
Yeah, and what do you call this one? Because for TV, sometimes people becomes different. They have like a TV side compared to like the real them.
Yeah.
So full of Dave to be who he is, right?
Yeah. Super cool. I mean, I've even noticed like with Nunez, he's gotten plugged into some and I don't even know the tribe that he's doing, but he's doing something for some tribe and raising awareness and money, and it's like getting back to his roots. So he's he does stuff on the back end of production on certain shows, but he's pretty much totally mellowed his shit out too. Cool.
Very cool. And what do you call this one? I have one last question for you.
Sure.
If you're given a chance to compete in the show again, would you do it?
Yeah.
Yes?
Totally. I applied for this next season coming up.
Huh?
I applied for the next season.
Hopefully. Oh my goodness. Hopefully you're in there.
I think I'm too old for it. I don't think they want an old grumpy guy on there. Yeah, but stirring the pot would be something very easily. Now that I know what to expect of it, now that I know how things are done, and not to get myself stressed out, but know how to, it'd be easier to go through the competition knowing what I know now than it was when I went on the first time.
Like behind the scenes, you know what to do now.
So yeah, instead of getting pissed off because, you know, what's taking them so long, realize, oh, they're doing this just to fuck with people. So watch everybody else melt down and just stay calm. You know, oh God, you know, we're barely getting any sleep. Okay, well, they're just trying to get in our heads. Let's just see everybody else fall apart. You know, just worry about you. Don't worry about trying to be friends with everybody on the cast.
And just, you know, what do you call this? Be consistent in like.
Yeah, be consistent, ride the wave, and just, you know, if your consistency gets you to the finale and gets you a win, cool. But don't give up on yourself like I did last time.
You
know, my cover-up tattoo was not my best. It wasn't the worst of the day, but it was at the same time, it was like I said, I think I got sent home because I stopped being the persona that they expected me to be.
And I remembered you said on the show that you were colorblind.
Partly. I'm what they call blue-green deficient, which means really not much. I failed the dot test when I go to the eye doctor, but I'll sit there and go, okay, here's a blue bottle. Okay, here's a purple bottle, you know. And I know how to do things to compensate for my lack of seeing the same color that you see. Okay, I see tons of colors. I just see a different spectrum of it than you do.
Ooh. And how do you like, what do you call this one? How do you like tattoo with that color? Do you have like a hard time dealing with like canvases with like that color? Nope. That you're colorblind?
No. Nope. Putting in pigment is putting in pigment. You either know how to do it or you don't. I think mine actually, my deficiency allows me to see the tones more than just the color. So my fades could be smoother than some people that would just go in and just hammer color into somebody. I'm always working on my transitions, trying to make them absolutely perfect. And healing up perfect, because I've learned how to do certain things that look like shit when they're first done, but when they heal, they come out perfect. So it's just things that you learn over time. The unfortunate thing about Ink Master is that you're looking at it right then and there, and they're judging it right then and there, and they can go home and that tattoo and that canvas can scab up and half of it could fall out. Yeah, and you would never know.
That's what happened in the judging room, right? When they talk about how the flower that you did, the cover-up was like yellow instead.
Yeah, they said, well, here's the thing. They said I should have never used yellow. And you might have seen little specks of it here and there. But later on with one of the finale type things, when the final four were up there, Scott did a cover-up and used nothing but yellow. And you could see every fucking line on it. And I actually made a comment while it was going, on a viewing party, and I said, what the fuck? I said, I get kicked off for using yellow, and your winner used yellow for a whole thing, and I could see everyone. It was like some kind of triangle and some other shit. It was cover up of a convention day, and they didn't say a word about it. At least they didn't show it in editing. They might have said it on the floor, but I wasn't there on the floor. So I posted, I said, hey, Dave, didn't I get kicked off? And he wrote back, yep. So don't, you know, there's shows being produced now by the same people that they use yellow in a cover up like a mad fucker. And I'm like, and I've written to the executive producer saying, wow, did he just use yellow in a cover up? She goes, yeah, good thing it's not a competition show. So again, the reason why I think I got kicked off was because I stopped being the dick that they wanted me to be.
The storyline, yes. It's not about, you know, that you're colorblind or something like that. It's not about.
No. Matter of fact, people would sit there and say, oh my God, I can't believe you're that way. So I tell every one of my customers, you know, if I have a hard time seeing a certain skew of color, it's fine. I'll tell you, I'm like, you want purple? What shade of purple? Well, I want this kind of periwinkle / with a little bit of violet. And I'm like, pick one of the fucking colors, you know, I'll put it in, I'll make it lighter, I'll give it depth, all that stuff. I've got software on my iPad that I'll bring in a photograph and I can hover over it and it'll tell me exactly what tone it is, and I have the tone that matches in ink. And that way I can reproduce it.
And you don't have to like
wonder and go out and grind up a flower and let it dry and make a specific pigment. No.
Like the show. You don't have to go through that stress.
No, not at all.
What do you call this one? So, do you have anything that you want to plug for our viewers and future viewers, like your store, your?
You can find me on most social medias under Jim Francis Tattoo. I have a little small personal suite in a 𝚬𝚗𝚗𝚏𝚕 suite that's just me, no drama. Shut the doors, shut the blinds, put on my surround sound, and just tattoo. I got into tattooing for the love of tattooing, not for the money. And I still love tattooing. It may hurt me at times because of carpal tunnel and all kinds of other shit, but I'll still keep tattooing. It's not a big thing. So follow me. I mean, I think I'm one of the most unfollowed and unpopular contestants ever. I've got a total of maybe 5,000 followers on each one of my pages, and that's it. I think because I never really promoted myself and got into all the drama things with it. And I wouldn't sit there and engage with people and talking shit to them online. It would just, it's not worth it.
Just living the simple life, right?
Yep. It's just doing stuff that I love, and
simple life.
The people that really matter are the people that I tattoo, that I make friendships with, and my family. I don't need to worry about people online and making, you can have 20,000 followers and they all can give you their opinion on what you're doing, and none of it mean a damn thing because none of them are going to get tattooed by you. Yeah.
It's just their opinion, and your message boxes, it's just going to be filled with like random messages from people. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And I just, I try to, I make it a point to be nice to people now all the time. Like, I will sign on to my Facebook, and every day it pops up saying these many people have birthdays, and I will say happy birthday to each person, even though I don't know. Just because it makes me feel really good when my birthday comes up and I've got 300 happy birthdays and I don't know these people.
Right.
So why not start the day off being nice to somebody instead of being an asshole all the time?
Exactly.
I want people to be fucking nice to each other. That's it.
Yep. Every time, be nice to people, be nice to everyone, because at the end of the day, it's gonna come back at you. Karma, right?
Yeah.
I believe in karma.
Yep. So do I. And I've done a lot of fucked up things in my past, and I've paid for it 5 times over. And I'd rather just be cool. If someone wants to get in my face, we can handle shit. I'm an ex-bouncer. I've done all kinds of stupid shit in my life. I stand up for myself, but I'm not going to go looking for the trouble. So if people were more like that, I'm not saying like me, but more just confident in themselves and just chill, half these problems in this world would be shit. They wouldn't be anything.
Yeah. So every time you have to be good to everyone. Don't be a jerk. Don't be,
if you don't like somebody, don't talk to them. Don't talk about them. Leave it alone.
What do you call this one? What's your shop called?
Jim Francis Tattoo.
That's it? No, like
𝙲𝚘𝚗𝚗𝚏𝚗𝚗. It's just my name and tattoo. That's it.
That's good. That's good though. Yes, because other names are like Warrior, Princess, 𝚲𝚘𝚘𝚗𝚗, Vader.
Yeah, I wanted to make it simple and consistent. That way, if anybody wanted to find me, all they have to do is type in Jim Francis Tattoo, and it comes up with all my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok, all that other crap, and my website, and all of Ink Master stuff, all comes up under Jim Francis Tattoo. So consistency is the law on it. You'll always win.
And hopefully I see you in the next season of Ink Master.
We'll see. And if I go back on, we'll just see how much fun I can make everything,
Just, right? Just have fun.
I will. I'll do kick-ass tattoos, but I'll also know not to get in my own feelings about shit. My daughter's older. I'm in a better marriage now. Life is, I wish I was in this situation now when I went on.
Oh, right? Before.
Yeah. Yeah, before, and not things being so volatile at home and all the other shit that was going on.
And it's hard when you have like a baby daughter or
Yeah. And my daughter's my world. I love her to death. You know, she's my little monster. I have her 50% of the time. You know, draw together, hang out together. She still has. I mean, she's 11 and she still wants me to tuck her in at night. You know, she's my girl.
And she will root for you. She will be like, "Yes, Dad, kick."
Yeah. She'll still tease me. I'm like, she'll say something about one of her teachers knows somebody famous. I said, I'm famous. She goes, no, you're not, Dad. You're not. She goes, that was a long time ago. And I just sit there and laugh. I'm like, good girl.
Little did she know that you will come back for the next season.
God only knows. It's up to Andrea. Who knows?
What do you call this? Is there anything else you want to say?
No, just, you know, God bless. Be nice to each other. I got church in a half hour, so I got to cut out too.
Yes. Thank you.
And yeah, dude, keep watching, guys. I run the Facebook group Ink Master News and Information. And so whenever like one of the Ink Masters that I talk to or people that have been on the show, whenever they're on it or they're going to a convention, I'll repost that it's that, or they're able to post on there. Nothing gets brought in personal. It's if it comes from somebody that was on the show or it's about somebody on the show. Other than that, I don't want advertisements. All that shit gets blocked. So it's only about people on Ink Master.
Ooh, only about people, right? About like the show, the art.
About the show, about pictures that we took behind the scenes. You know, people to ask questions. You know, there's a couple of the people that have been on the show that will go and answer questions here and there. If you want to shout out to a specific artist and ask them a question, I'll re-tag them in it and see if they respond. It's Ink Master. It's shit. Let me look at the group right now and tell you what it says.
And everyone can join, right, in that group?
Yeah, I approve every one of them to join. The only time you get denied and deleted is if you're like throwing up some advertisement for some stupid shit that has nothing to do with the show.
With the show, okay.
Yeah. Don't come on there and say, hey, who can do this tattoo? Or, hey, check out my friend that tattoos. Now, if you got a question from Mark Matthews or Sausage or myself or, you know, King Ruck or whatever, you know, I'll try to help you out to get that answered.
Ooh. And hopefully I can interview Sausage, everyone too.
Yeah. Yeah. All you got to do is just give them a shout out. See if they bite on it.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll chat to you, okay? I'll leave you a message after this.
All right, cool.
That's it. Well, I have no questions for you, Jim. Thank you for agreeing to do this chat with me.
I want to thank all the people that were leaving messages, saying nice stuff.
And for the viewers too.
There wasn't. I'm sorry it wasn't more popular for you, but you know, I am who I am, and that's all there is to it. And I hope you have success with your little podcasts and stuff that you're doing, dude.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jim. And I'll see you next time.
See you around.
And everyone, wave goodbye to the icon of Ink Master Season 4, Jim Francis. Thank you.
Right, later.
Later. Okay, guys, so this one is going to be on my YouTube channel, okay? It's on my link, ReimondVlogs, Reimond M. And I'm going to post this in a few days. See you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. And hopefully we'll get sausage in the huddle room. Thank you, guys.